These are the two things you should absolutely avoid doing in today's tight labor market. It's critical that you avoid flashing red X's, that you avoid doing these two things in today's tight job market. The job market right now is super tight. There is not a lot of new jobs being created in the labor market right now, and boomers are staying in their jobs longer and longer, which means that there's not a lot of movement in the job market. People are not retiring. People are staying on longer. They're not leaving the jobs due to some of their fears in the economy. And so because boomers are not retiring and the labor market is stagnant and unemployment is down, it is a really tight labor market. What that basically means is that there's not a lot of movement. Things are kind of rigid. And for job seekers, it's a really hard time to be searching for a job because there's just not a lot of fluidity in the labor market like it usually is. I mean, when there's not a lot of fluidity, right? When there's not a lot of moving parts, people tend to do these two things that actually keeps them stuck in jobs that they no longer desire to be in. It keeps them stuck in jobs that are overworking them and underpaying them. And I think a lot of the things that people do sort of is out of fear, right? Like you're fearful of kind of what's going on in the labor market. You're seeing that it's tight. You're not seeing a lot of movement. And so you fall into these two pitfalls. So I'm going to talk to you about the two things you absolutely want to avoid in today's tight labor market and talk to you about what to do instead. And I'm going to do all of this over the next 8 minutes, right? This is going to be a short and quick and impactful because I want to give you some specific strategy, tell you what to avoid, tell you what you should be doing instead, and really help you be more strategic in your pursuits of your career development. So if you're down for an 8-minute conversation and for us to dive really deep into this, then you're in the right place because we're going to get into it. So number one, the number one thing that you want to avoid in today's tight labor market is to kind of take a wide net approach, right? This is not the time where you want to put yourself out there, where you want to cast a wide net, where you want to kind of see what's out there and, just spray your resume to, 100,000 different employers and just see what sticks, right? The reason why you don't want to do this is because it's exhausting, right? You see those people on LinkedIn who are like, I applied for hundreds of jobs and employers are not calling me back and I'm exhausted with the labor market. Like, sis, you exhausted yourself, right? Like, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you set yourself up for failure? Do not do this. Do not in a tight labor market, you feel like, well, maybe it's like you're thinking it's all about activity. So I just got to put myself out there. I've got to spray this out to the world. I've got to, let everybody know my name. And that's the way to actually find and secure a higher level, higher paying job. It's not. It's exhausting. It's focused more on activity than results. And it's always going to yield more frustration and more annoyance than results, right? So if you actually want results, like getting employers to call you back, like going on successful interviews, like getting offers, getting offers that are aligned with your pay level and your skill set, about finding jobs that feel meaningful to you, you want to avoid just putting yourself out there and spraying your resume everywhere. It's exhausting. It doesn't drive results. And yeah, it might make you feel good, like you're doing the work, quote unquote, but it doesn't really yield results, right? So I want you to avoid that. Instead, this is the time to double down and be strategic, right? Like we have to have a strategic job search. We have to build a strategic job search. We have to do this in a way that we're being intentional, that we're actually looking for roles that are aligned with our skill set, that are aligned with our pay level, that are aligned with the things that we want to do in our life and career. If you don't have a career development roadmap, this is a time to invest in career coaching so that you can have a roadmap. You cannot just be putting yourself out there and hoping something sticks. We really need to have a strategy, and that's something we'll build together, right? So we want to avoid the, spray method, and we really want to niche down. We want to only be applying for jobs that are a good fit for us, that we know we want to hear back from. And we want to be strategic about our applications so that we can yield high results, right? So that's the first thing you want to avoid doing. And that's the fix, right? To really be building a strategic job strategy. The second thing that you want to avoid doing, right? Right? Like based on, if you follow me, if you're following the economy, if you're following what's going on with unemployment numbers, you know that this is a tight labor market. Unemployment is down. And while that's good for like society, we don't want, there to be rampant unemployment. It's bad for job seekers because that means that, there's not a lot of fluid movement in the job market. So the second thing you want to avoid doing is just kind of hunkering down in your current job. I think because the labor market is tight, some people have, been trying to DIY their job search. They're applying for jobs, they're updating their resume. Maybe they're paying someone $200 or $300 to fix their resume, right? They're doing some of that work but they're like hunkered down, right? Like they're like, I'm just going to stay in this job. I'm just going to try to weather this storm. Once things open up, I'm going to start applying for jobs again. I'm just going, put my head down and do the work. I'm just going to ignore, my boss. I'm going to ignore how unhappy I am. I'm going to ignore the insults. I'm going to ignore the belittling. I'm going to ignore, the bad behavior from my staff, from my team. I'm going to ignore everything. And I'm just going to put my head down and do the work and wait till things open up, right? And let me know if that's ever been you. Just put me, Ashley, you're talking to me. If you ever have said to yourself, you know what, I'm just going to put my head down and do the work. I'm just going to, just try to block these people out. I'm just going to work on my affirmations. I'm not going to let these people get to me, right? You kind of have this avoidance model in your career, right? Like, let me know if that resonates with you. If you have an avoidance model, right? Just put a me in the chat. Yeah, girl, you talking to me. I be just trying to avoid how annoyed I am. I be trying to avoid how unhappy I am, how frustrated I am, how disappointed I am in my career. I'm just trying to avoid it, right? This is something I want you to avoid. I want you to avoid doing that, right? I want you to avoid avoidance in your career. I want you to face it head on. I want you to honor that you've outgrown this job. I want you to honor that this job is not paying you at the level that you desire. I want you to honor that you need help in your career, and trying to avoid it and pretend it doesn't exist is not a strong strategy. I want you to face head on that you're unhappy in your career, that you are not growing, you are not thriving, you are not doing meaningful work in your career right now, that you need help to get unstuck, right? I want you to face that head on. I want you to honor that. And I want you to commit today that I'm no longer going to practice this model of avoidance in my career. I'm going to face it head on. I'm going to tell myself the truth that this job, this career path, this industry is not working for me. And I need to get the help that I need to transition my career, to advance in my career, to get help in my career, right? So number one, we're not going to just put ourselves out there. We're not going to do the widespread spray method of just applying for 1 million jobs and hoping they stick. We're also going to stop practicing avoidance in our career and actually commit to getting the help that we need, right? No longer can we, in this tight economy, we can't just DIY our career development. We can't just try to do it for ourselves and hope that, it sticks. We really need to make sure that we're being intentional about the next steps in our career and being strategic about actually going after things that we want in our career with guided support. And if you are a professional woman who works in corporate, nonprofit, or educational leadership, and you are looking to secure a minimum of a $30,000 salary increase by July 1, this is the time for you to be working with me. This is the time for you to get support you need in your career development. And if you found yourself doing either of these things, either spraying your resume out to 1 million people and hoping something sticks, or just putting your head down and doing the work and hoping that something comes up, over time, I want you to know that these strategies will not yield success. And instead, there is a pathway to success through career coaching and through dedicated support in your career. And I'm here to help you do that. I'm looking forward to serving you in my mentorship programs. You can schedule a call with me today at mentor-me.org. That's mentor-me.org. Again, that's mentor-me.org to schedule a call with me. I'm accepting new mentees in my March and April cohorts. I look forward to serving you. I look forward to helping you build a successful career roadmap and then walking alongside you, implement it so you can have career success. That is the next pathway for you to take that next step. Go right to my website at mentor-me.org to schedule a call, and I look forward to serving you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.